Fellas, it's time for Harry Potter. Oh gosh, I'm so happy. Harry Potter is so much fun and I love everyone involved.
I hear you, Joe, and thanks for letting me fill in for Mr. Rogan. I hope he's doing okay. What happened to him again?
Mr. Rogan summoned Kushron for like the 4th time in 2 weeks. He's so zooted.
Boys, you gotta check this shit out. It's pretty funny. Rogan just sent me a video message. Check it out.
Hey, boys, look at Kushron. He can shrink. He's such a tiny dragon now, lol.
Mr. Rogan, in all my years, I've never seen someone smoke so many dragon blunts. Are you okay?
I'm so fine, man. I'm like in this shit foil, like my words are barley slurring it all. You know, like goff damn Kushron, you're so green, my guy. How did you get so green?
Rogan, you're my homie always, but I have no clue what you just said. You should wish for me to heal you.
How about I wish for you to shut the fuck up? Ha 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 ha. I am just joshing you, Kushron. You're a bro, for real. Hey, you ever feel like we don't actually exist, but that we are all just I voices controlled by I, Toby, like that's so weird, bro.
God damn, this dude is tripping out for real.
Well, it certainly sounds like Mr. Rogan is definitely out of commission.
I've never seen a more zooted alpha in my entire life. And I've seen many things, yes, indeed, many things. In fact, I think I've seen everything you could ever see ever. Anyway, what's the criteria for ranking Perry Hotter Barack?
It's pronounced Harry Potter, Donald.
I know that, idiot. I'm just making memes. Now tell the audience the criteria. Don't be such a wet blanket.
The criteria is simple, gentlemen, like it usually is. We will be ranking the movies on a scale of enjoyment. I don't mind if you bring the books up as long as we all recognize that the movies are what we are ranking, not the books. We all know the books are better, so no reason to throw a hissy fit or anything if a movie isn't as good as the book. Is that cool with everyone?
Don't compare the movies to the books. I already know that rule is going to be broken pretty quickly.
Sounds good to me, Barry. I prefer the books, but each film brings something to the table to enjoy.
I'm surprised you can even read those books, Joe. Your retinas aren't what they used to be, blind Joe.
Shut it, Donnie. Least I know how to read books that aren't written by Dr. Seuss, you illiterate bitch.
Jesus Christ, Barry, are they always like this?
George, watch our other videos. You have no idea. This shit is like 24/7s with them. Anyway, I'll start us off. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone if you're fucking lame, was a great start. It had this childish charm of wonder and excitement, introducing us to our 3 main protagonists, Harry Potter, Ronald Weasley, and Hermione Granger, the Golden Trio. It's a great introduction into the wizarding world with highlights such as Harry making his fat-ass cousin Dudley fall into the snake pit at the zoo, Harry getting his wand, a giant troll that gets knocked out by Ron, and of course that awesome chess scene and finale. Overall, it's a great family movie. I'd give it a B tier.
B tier is fair for sure. I think Severus Snape was a great red herring to throw off the audience. I won't lie, fellas, when I first watched the film, I genuinely thought that greasy prick was evil. Boy, was I surprised when it turned out that Quirrell was the evil one. I mean, he had Voldemort living on the back of his head. What a sick freak. Harry turned that bitch to ash. It was so hardcore. Oh, and we can't forget that wicked Quidditch scene.
Quidditch was awesome, and seeing Harry catch the snitch was very exciting. My only problems with the film really boiled down to the 3rd floor itself. It's a bit confusing. Like, I know that giant 3-headed dog was guarding the entrance, but like, does it ever go away? Like, where exactly did they fall? To the 2nd floor? Or is there just an entire catacomb of bullshit constantly under the 3rd floor corridor?
Not only is the 3rd floor not really explained, but like, why the fuck did Quirrell try to choke Harry with his bare hands? Like in the scene, he snaps his fingers and starts an entire fire surrounding the entire room. I mean, couldn't he have used magic to kill Harry? Why all the physicality nonsense? This movie is C tier for me.
Well, Joe and I think the movie is B tier. What do you think, George?
I think B tier is fair. I can overlook the flaws because it had good set pieces and acting, especially when you consider the dangers of child actors. They can either be really good or really shit, and in this case, our trio knocked it out of the park. I give B tier. There are better movies in the series, but this was a great start.
B tier it is. Moving on to The Chamber of Secrets, I think it was also a B tier movie. Above the first one, the comedy was greatly improved. Gilderoy Lockhart was so vain that it was hilarious. There's a great deleted scene of him quizzing his students. Jamie, can you... Oh shit, I forgot Rogan isn't here. I
bought a complete set of my books. Well done. Now, I thought we'd start today with a little quiz. You have 30 minutes. Start.
Tut. Hardly any of you remember that my favorite color is lilac.
What the fuck just happened? Who played that clip?
Maybe Jamie is actually a trickster god born of the underworld, using his ungodly magic of summoning clips to benefit us. Oh, mighty Jamie, if you can hear me, prove me right and play a clip of an outdated meme.
These biscuits.
Holy fuck, I don't know who this Jamie is, but that's certainly a weird and vague power. Anyway, continuing on, I think Chamber of Secrets was great. Lucius Malfoy and his little crotch spawn were perfectly cast. I know we saw Malfoy in the last movie, but in this one we get to see his father. And it all makes total sense on why that bitch turned out the way he did. The basilisk was a really awesome creature. And Tom Riddle's diary possessing the young Ginny Weasley was pretty horrific, forcing her to write blood on the wall and shit. Great film. And I'd argue it's actually the last child-friendly Harry Potter movie. It only gets darker and more depressing from here.
Chamber of Secrets is B tier. Now let's move on, because George, you're right. Indeed, it does get more depressing from here, especially with Prisoner of Azkaban. I already know the normie response I'm about to get, so let's hear it, fellas. What do you rank this film?
Solid S tier.
I agree, S tier.
It's one of the best movies in the series, Donald. It's obviously S tier.
Exactly what I thought. You fucking normies make me sick. This movie is C tier.
Avada Kedavra, Crucio, call me Sirius Black and call Donald Peter Pettigrew because I want to end his entire fucking existence.
Jesus, Donald, you really think it belongs in C tier? It's a great film. What's wrong with it?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Let's Invade Iraq. Fellas, this movie series is about magic and saving the wizarding world. Why on God's green earth did J.K. Rowling add fucking time travel into the mix? You know how I feel about fucking time travel? The first 3/4 of this movie is great, but goddamn it, they pissed me off so fucking much. The time travel in this film makes no goddamn sense. I already know one of the Potterheads are going to furiously type away to explain to me why it does make sense, but guess what? Wrong. That's all I have to say. It's wrong. You already have magic. Why can't we just stick to magic? I mean, for fuck's sake, even Rowling herself thought it was bullshit. That's why she got rid of them and never mentioned them ever again, because it's a stupid plot device. The movie is S tier up until the time turner fuckery. Overall, I give it a C tier. That's how bad I think it is.
Well, goddamn, Donald, I knew you didn't like time travel, but I mean, a bunch of random events are shown throughout the final ending, hinting at something else going on, and they have Hermione constantly appearing out of nowhere to hint at the fact. So it's not like it's not established. Add on to that all the good things in the movie, like the Dementors and the reveal that Sirius Black is Harry's godfather, and you got yourself a great film. Oh, and Buckbeak is awesome. Can't forget the Hippogriff.
Oh yeah, Barack? What about Peter Pettigrew? Fred and George had the Marauders map even before the third film. You're telling me they saw their brother sleeping with a man named Peter Pettigrew for over a year at the very least and never said anything? It was a good reveal, but there are glaring flaws in this film you're all ignoring.
Okay, Donald, I'll give you that. That kind of is a bit of a plot hole, but still, the movie isn't C tier. I'd give it an A tier at the very least.
I guess I can be content with A tier, but I swear, Donald, I will mess you up, bitch. Avada Kedavra.
Here's a spell for you fuckheads, swish and flick and eat a fucking dick.
I didn't expect so much heat from the third film. Anyway, I'm putting it in A tier. Now let's move on to Goblet of Fire. This is a mixed bag for me. The reason being that this film shits all over the source material like it's pretty bad. They ignore a lot of plot points from the book. And Dumbledore is written so poorly, Dumbledore acts nothing as he does in the book. In the book, he's always calm and collective, but in the movie, he's just a cranky old man. And he basically assaults Harry. I mean, look at this page from the book. Notice how it says the word calmly. Now look what they do in the film. Jamie, play the Dumbledore meme, please.
Harry Potter!
Everything is a conspiracy theory. Everything is a conspiracy theory. I protest.
Harry!
I protest.
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
No, sir.
You asked one of the oldest students to do it for you?
No, sir.
You're absolutely sure?
Yeah, this movie's pacing is kind of dog shit, not gonna lie. It has some high points, though. I think the performance by Jeff Rawle, a.k.a. Amos Diggory, when Cedric is brought back dead, is absolutely heartbreaking. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on this scene, but it makes this old man cry every time. Sniffle, sniffle. Jamie, oh Lord, from the beyond, play the tragic cries of Amos Diggory.
Let me through! Let me through! That's my son! That's my boy! My boy! No!
It's all right. I got you. I got you.
That is the saddest scene in the entire film. and the return of Voldemort was handled well. But look at the absolutely insane dragon sequence. I mean, for fuck's sake, in the book, the entire thing takes place in the arena. You really think the teachers in Hogwarts are just going to let a dragon fly around the school? Absolutely not. Not to mention those goofy-ass haircuts. I mean, goddamn, Harry and Ron look like a couple of dummies. For real, this movie is C-tier.
I agree, this film is C-tier. I like the casting choices for Mad-Eye Moody and, of course, Barty Crouch Jr., but the movie is just so much different from the book, it just kind of throws it all off for me. Do you fellas mind if I talk about Order of the Phoenix?
Go for it, George. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thanks, Barry. I think Order of the Phoenix is S-tier. I think it's the best movie in the series. Considering the fifth book is the longest, I think it's extremely impressive they managed to fit as much as they did in that 2-hour runtime. They perfectly captured Harry going through his struggles with Voldemort returning, and I think they handled that stupid bitch Umbridge perfectly. I love Imelda Staunton. She looks like a wonderful lady, and she's a phenomenal actress. She played Umbridge so well. She portrayed that evil toad perfectly, so perfectly, in fact, that whenever I saw her on screen, I just wanted to pick up the nearest shovel and bash her over the head until she stopped moving.
I agree, George, that bitch can catch a shovel to the face. She used medieval torture methods. What a deranged bitch. This movie also has some of the most wholesome moments of the whole series. Harry reunited with Sirius Black was so wholesome, and it builds up the audience's emotions so that at the end, when that crazy lunatic Bellatrix kills Sirius, the impact is absolutely heartbreaking.
The death of Sirius Black was very sad. He was definitely the coolest character. Gary Oldman is an absolute treasure and needs to be protected at all costs. I also like what they did with Snape, showing the audience that he indeed had reasons for disliking Potter. That scene where Harry uses Protego and accidentally goes inside Snape's mind was so goddamn good. That look of fear on Harry's face when Snape grabs him is priceless. The kid looks like he's going to shit himself.
Oh, and who can forget how much of an absolute pimp Dumbledore is? When Harry is caught training Dumbledore's army in the Room of Requirement, that limp dick Minister Fudge comes to arrest him and he just fucking bails. He's all like, "Oh shit, bro, you thought I was going to Azkaban. Lowell, suck on these wrinkly nuts." And then just vanishes. Jamie used the power of your bloodline to call forth that awesome scene.
Patch an owl to the Daily Prophet. If we hurry, we should still make the morning edition. Dawlish, Shacklebolt, you will escort Dumbledore to Azkaban.
I thought we might hit this little snag. You seem to be laboring under the delusion that I'm going to... What was the phrase? Come quietly. Well, I can tell you this. I have no intention of going to Azkaban.
Dumbledore is an absolute pimp for that scene. This movie is S-tier. I wish we got more fights like the one at the end of this film where Dumbledore faces off against Voldemort. That's how all magical duels should be. Just two titans of their craft slugging magic at each other. Fantastic movie. Thank you for reminding me how awesome this film was. George, I vote S-tier.
I agree on S-tier. It's a fantastic movie, but now we must unfortunately talk about Half-Blood Prince, great book. But the movie is just so goddamn boring. I mean, the last 30 or so minutes were great, and it had the occasional moment of suspense, like when Harry and Dumbledore were looking through Slughorn's memories. But Jesus Christ, fellas, this might be the most tone-deaf movie in the entire franchise. For example, Ron is put under a love potion, given an antidote, given a drink, gets fucking poisoned. Harry saves him at the last minute, and he just decides to crack a joke. Like, what the fuck, so tone-deaf? Not to mention the horrifically awkward romance. Like, I know they're teenagers, but gosh, that scene where Ginny ties Harry's shoes makes me cringe. The attack on the Burrow was dumb. It didn't happen in the book. It was just a shoehorned action scene. I give this crap D-tier.
Yeah, it really is a shame they did this movie dirty, though I have to give credit to Daniel Radcliffe's acting chops. That scene where he drinks the luck potion is pretty funny. He just looks like he did a huge rip of cocaine and just rizzes his way into getting Slughorn's memory. Not to mention the most iconic scene in all of Harry Potter, Snape killing Dumbledore. I mean, by golly, fellas, when I first read that shit, I was so sad and appalled. I think Snape became the most hated character overnight. I gotta give Rowling credit for this setup. She fooled an entire generation of kids with the revelation in the Deathly Hallows that the whole thing was a plan set up by Snape and Dumbledore. Jamie, I don't know who you are, but please show the audience one of the most shocking death scenes in all of fantasy cinema.
Severus,
Please. Avada Kedavra.
God, what an iconic scene. This was probably the most perfect scene in this film, but again, it still doesn't make the film. I mean, they took out the Battle of the Astronomy Tower and instead gave us Bellatrix smashing up the Great Hall. What a dumb decision. Don't get me wrong, I love Helena Bonham Carter. Yes, indeed, she can. Joseph on my R. Until I produce a Biden blast, she's amazing. But overall, the movie was just really meh, though I wouldn't say it's a D tier. Tom Felton, Daniel Radcliffe, Alan Rickman all carried this film. I give it C tier.
You already know Bellatrix is an absolute freak in the streets, but she's also a freak in the sheets on God. And I agree with Joe, the movie was C tier for me.
You simps are giving this movie way too much fucking credit. It really wasn't that good.
I have to agree with the carrot fellas. This movie is D tier. There's just not enough in it for me to rank it higher. Iconic moments for sure, but the movie as a whole was just not very good.
George, I can't wait to rip you apart in the Ninja Storm 4 tournament. Remember this moment? You just gave me extra motivation to beat your Patriot Act looking ass.
Shut the fuck up, Joe. Your performance against me is going to be worse than how you left Afghanistan.
That's Rich Jr. I wonder who got us involved with Afghanistan. Anyone got any ideas, Barry? Donald, was it one of you? Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. It was you, George. By the time I'm done with you, your name is going to be George L., because I'm taking that W, bitch.
Well, color me surprised, Joe. That was actually kind of based anyway. Can we put Deathly Hallows Part 1 in B tier? It was all right, just kind of boring. But it had its moments. Ron destroying the Horcrux, the gang breaking out of Malfoy Manor, and the death of Dobby was super sad and tragic. Even if I firmly believe house elves don't make any sense at all. Like how the fuck are elves enslaved in this universe when they can just snap their fingers and vanish? I don't know, maybe it's some sort of magical contract or some shit. But yeah, I'd give Part 1 B tier and Part 2 I'd give A tier. It was a pretty solid ending. Everyone's death was really sad. We lost Lupin, we lost Tonks, we lost Snape, we lost Fred, and many others. So sad. Harry Potter was a great series, a wonderful series. I think I watch at least 2 Harry Potter movies every year. They're all great films. What do you say, fellas? Do you agree with Big Donnie?
You know what, Donald? I do agree B tier for Part 1 makes sense. The whole movie was basically set up for the finale, and the finale itself, while not perfect, did a great job of wrapping up the series, and Snape's death scene in particular was absolutely brutal. Not to mention the amazing acting of the late Alan Rickman, never forgotten. I'd argue Alan Rickman is like top 20 actors to ever act. Obviously, I'm hella biased, but the man was a genius. Jamie hit us up with the most brutal death scene in all of Harry Potter.
My lord.
Eeny. Kill.
Fellas, I'm sorry, but I'm an absolute sap. I got to put Deathly Hallows Part 2 into S tier. I know I might be a bit dramatic, but when we saw Snape's memories, it genuinely moved me. Snape loved Harry's mom, and he did everything in his power to thwart Voldemort at every turn. His good deeds certainly don't justify how horrible he was to others such as Harry himself. But come on, when you see this scene, it sends shivers down your spine, Jamie. I need you to make the audience cry.
Don't tell me now that you've grown to care for the boy. Lily, after all this time.
Always.
This was great, fellas. Sniffle, but I gotta go now. Sniffle. My allergies. Sniffle. Yeah, exactly. My allergies. I'm not crying or anything. Sniffle. I just need tissues.
Melania, please hold me. The greatest tears in existence are flowing.
The absolute saddest of Obama noises.
Remember, my dear viewers, that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Thank you for watching. Look forward to me stomping Bush in Ninja Storm 4, but for now I must go in grief. We love you all, always. I must say, though, the way New York looks like a pelican on a map is quite astounding. I mean, can a pelican can if a can is canning? How uncanny, how magical. I think Plotter Harry is great because greatness lies in you. Just make sure to mix that pasta. Joe Biden is out of here.